Welcome to the countdown. While you wait for the show to begin, try to relax, grab a drink, sit down, and just enjoy the music.
Yeah. Ooh, whoa.
Don't Christina it out.
Okay.
A little bit of land goes a long, long way. If you believe everything is okay, a little bit of land goes a long, long way. Sign the lease, bring the rings today. Everybody saying money, love, money, 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 more money.
She looks metallic.
Though I can't quite recall overnight sensation.
Welcome to the shop. We are back for All Stars 458. It's amazing to be back. Thank you so much for coming. Let's greet the chat. First and foremost, we have Wiki Liga, JJO, Mr. Person Unknowable, Marina Cray, House of Down Boots, Jennifer Molinari, Johnny Boy Toy, Help, Romance, Blazing Sen, Zoe, Laura Liz, Audicle One, the always beautiful Fantasia, and Icy, and Victor Jorge, who just joined right now. Thank you so much for coming. So tonight, we're going to review very briefly episode 1 and 2, and then focus on episode 3. I'm sorry that I couldn't be here last week. I wasn't feeling very well. I'm still a little bit sick. Yes. I'm still a little bit sick. I don't know if you can hear, my nose is kind of blocked. But we are going to go through this, and we are going to talk about everything that we need to talk about for this season of All Stars. Now, we're going to do some predictions at the end. Of course, talk about the storylines, comments at the Chop Live. They will be highlighted for me. And after the review, as usual, we have our Kiki time with your questions, comments, and whatever you would like to talk about. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. It's a really, really great help. Now, before we begin, this is actually the 7th season of The Chop. We started this back in March of 2020, and I would like to dedicate this season to my neighbor, who passed away last month. She was 97, she was an amazing woman, and a lovely neighbor. She was a really, really lovely person. So before we begin, I would like to take a moment to remind everybody that we really lived in a privileged era. We take a lot for granted, but we are born in this world. We have medical care, we have hospital, we have a society, we have transportation, we are interconnected through the internet, we have phones. We have all of these things that when you think about it, if you were born in the savannah, life would be incredibly different. And we have all of this because some people built it before us. Now, we will never have a chance to thank any of those people because the vast majority of them are gone. The only ones left are just the tiniest fraction out there. And these are our elders. They are our grandmothers, our grandfathers. So we live in a time that seems to cherish only being young, being strong, being healthy, being able to work, to move, be productive, always in a consumeristic kind of way. And we tend to forget the value of experience, the value of knowledge and wisdom and patience, most of all patience that comes from these people who are really some of the most unappreciated member of our society. So granted, not everybody will age gracefully, but in my experience, Almost all of them do. And they deserve to be seen. They deserve to be acknowledged, validated, and most of all, taken care of. They are not burden. They are our elders. They are living history. So, this world moves faster and faster. Everything seems to be the contrary of everything, always. There are no morals anymore. Morals are like fashions. They come and go every other day, and people confuse the value of human relationship with the value of a monthly subscription. So these people, our older generations, they are a stable and reliable point of reference that shows us where we were before, and they help us understand where we are right now and decide where we want to go. What do we want to do with our life, not only as single people, but also as a society? So these are our elders, and they are valued, and they are not visible. Now that we have that out of the way, let's begin with the show. Okay, let's talk about the queens a little bit. Since we didn't have an actual episode to discuss them, I didn't release a video with my opinion on the cast, so let's take a moment to discuss them, to talk about them. So let's start from Heidi. Heidi was the heart of season 12. I liked her on her season. She was a redemption edit during her season. But during this season, there is something that feels a little bit off. We're going to talk about it a little bit more in detail while we do the reviews for the episode. I was excited to see her, and I realized that there is something going on. Then we have Lalaurie. Lalaurie is honestly one of the best things to come out from season 13. If you don't take into account the flash the vag moment.
Out the cab, flash the vag, flash the vag, flash the vag, set the women's movement back.
Or the incredible mystery of who jizzed on Candy's outfit. It's 3 years later and we still haven't found out, so who knows? But, Lala is here. She's sweet. She is beautiful. She has a great attitude that hasn't changed at all since she came on season 13. So it's a real pleasure to see her. It's a breath of fresh air. Much like queens like the always beautiful Jada Essence Soul, the essence of beauty. She managed to skate through Drag Race and not lose herself, which is something that I really, really appreciate. Then we have Jimbo. Oh, we need a little bit of lime water. There we go. I was not particularly excited to see Jimbo. The problem was, it's not that I don't like Jimbo. I do like Jimbo. I do enjoy him. I always think that I'm going to enjoy him less and then realize that I enjoy him more for unrelated reasons. But I don't like the shuffling of the same queens over and over from franchise to franchise. I do understand that they are under contract and they want to exploit that contract as much as possible. But honestly, I would like to see queens in All Stars that didn't really get the chance to be on All Stars yet. I think it's, I would like everybody to have a chance, to have an opportunity. Now, Jimbo makes great television, which is important as well. But initially, when I saw him on the cast, I was like, no, I'm not really excited about that. I would have preferred somebody else from the very, very early season of Drag Race. But at the end of the day, I end up being really glad that Jimbo was here. Then we have James Mansfield. Now, James for me is a little bit of a heartbreaking story because when I watched the Meet the Queens back in season 9, I was like, oh my god, she is the winner. She is the winner of season 9, and then she went on first. So I'm really happy to see James. She is a really, really hard worker. She is here on YouTube. She creates content here on YouTube. And since I've been created content for almost 7 years now, I know how hard it is, how difficult it is, how demoralizing it can be, how nerve-wracking is dealing with YouTube itself. So I really do appreciate that she always find the time to deliver good content and started building a platform in here. So she works really, really hard. She is a queen that knows her story, which is a little bit of a rarity today. And she is really motivated to do well in this competition. So I'm happy to see her. Then we have Kasha Davies. Kasha is not appreciated enough. She is hilarious. If you watch any of her live performances, she is hilarious, like genuinely hilarious. And she's incredibly professional. I don't think she got a fair chance to show all of this back in season 7. I still feel like we only saw the tiniest part that was conducive to the kind of storylines that they wanted to push back in the day. So I was really happy to see her. Unfortunately, it didn't go really well because here again, didn't really get a chance to showcase all of her talent. But at least she was here. It's better than nothing. And then we have Candy Muse. Now, Candy Muse is hot. And there I said it. Fuck all of you haters. Candy Muse is hot. There we go. Now, I didn't like Candy in season 13. But to her acknowledgement, she did come out and say that she was portraying a character. That's what she was doing. She was there to portray a character, of course inspired by herself, but mostly to make television. That was what she perceived as her job, and that's what she was going to do. I did appreciate the honesty of Candy Muse. She's one of the very, very few queens who came out of Drag Race admitting about their faults. Like, Candy Muse came out saying, I didn't know the words for the lip syncs. I won them, but I didn't know the words. And that I really do appreciate. So I'm glad that this season of All Stars, we get to see more the real Candy and less the Candy character. Because I didn't like the Candy character, but I do like Candy Muse, the performer, outside of Drag Race. So this is, for me, it was great that she was cast. And then we have Alexis Michelle. Now, when it comes to Alexis Michelle, there is only one thing that I can think of.
He was like really feeling it, and all of a sudden, because he was just like feeling it and relaxed, he farted in my mouth. And I know what fart tastes like, and it's dry and metallic.
And that's everything that I was thinking for the whole first episode. You don't come to me and tell me she was not iconic. She's iconic. Alexis is incredibly talented, incredibly underrated, and she has some of the best makeup skills up there. She is fantastic. I do appreciate the calm personality that she always had. Apart, even when she was pissed back in season 9, she managed to come out calmly pissed, and that is something that I really do appreciate. Then we have Darian. Now, I'm happy to see Darian. She deserved a spot on All Stars. But I kind of have a feeling that this call was very, very late. What do I mean by that? She looks tired. She looks scared. She looks out of place. She looks like she's been out of the game already before the game even begun. She reminds me a lot of when Pandora came back for All Stars. I see the same exact attitude, and I don't think it's just the fact that they are in the same drag family. As a matter of fact, Darian is Pandora's drag mother. So it's not just that. It's just the fact that it feels like it's too late. It's nice that Darian is in there, but she should have been on All Stars 3. 4 maximum, because right now she just looks, I don't know, out of place for some reason. I don't know if she has something going on. I don't know if she's tired. I don't know if she is scared, considering that this might very well be one of her last opportunities to make a big impression on the big public. I don't know what it is, but it feels like she is completely out of the game. And the same for Monica. I was expecting a lot from Monica, most of all because we didn't see very much back in season 5, and she had a huge potential to actually come back after so many years, show everybody how she evolved, show everybody her talent, the things that she could do, and instead it's like she froze into place and we didn't get to see much at all. Then we have Naysha. Now, Naysha is not good for Drag Race. I said it, I believe it. I think she is beautiful. I think she has talents of her own. One of those talents is hosting. Another one of those talents is pageantry. She always looked beautiful. She is always very poised. She can hold a crowd. But doing good on Drag Race is another set of talents. And I don't think she has those talents. I don't think that the Drag Race environment is the right one for a person like Naysha. So if I were her, I wouldn't have come back, because the double treatment that she had back in season 8 was already pretty telling. So I don't know, she's just not good for Drag Race. It doesn't mean that she's not a good queen or a good person, but you shine best in those places that allow you to shine in the things that you can do better. And this was not really working. I was not incredibly excited to see Naysha because I already had a hint that production had nothing in mind for her. Now, Jessica, the art of season 2, one of my favorite queens from one of my favorite seasons of Drag Race. I will never shut up about season 2. Season 2 was amazing. To me, she is my winner of this season. She is funny, she's honest, she's talented, she is really down to earth. She has had 13 years to prove who she is. We never heard any kind of drama concerning Jessica Wilde, any sign of shade thrown online by Jessica Wilde or involving Jessica Wilde, or any kind of sign of problematic behavior. And it's been 13 years. That's plenty of time to make a mock of yourself if you are not a very genuine person, or if you try to play shady games online to stay relevant. We heard nothing. She just worked and worked and worked. And I think that she has all of the qualities that make a good winner, not only for us, the public, but also for production, because her personality, her professionality make her very easy to work with if you have her under contract and if she becomes the face of your franchise. So for me, she is the winner of this season. Then of course we will do speculations and talk a little bit more about that, but to me it's pretty clear. All Stars 8 seems like season 15, where in episode 3 we already knew who was going to win. So I think this is the exact same scenario. And finally, we have Kana Montrese. Now, I had zero recollection of Kana on Drag Race. Of course, one of the problems is that she comes from one of the most boring seasons for me of Drag Race. And this is not on the queens. Of course, they all do their job pretty well throughout the whole seasons. It was just organized very poorly. The job done behind the scene was basically crap. They were riding on the fact that they were very successful on VH1, and never forget the 400-way lip sync where we had 20 queens on stage lip syncing together. I think that's one of the dumbest decisions ever made by Drag Race production. So I had exactly zero recollections. I also didn't recognize her. Part of the problem was the fact that she was very open about having a lot of work done. And of course, it made it more difficult for me. When she came out, I was like, oh my God, who are you? Am I that old already? But she's here to slay. She invested a ton of money into this. A ton of money. Have you seen her Drag Race package? I don't know where she got that money from. The same is for Monica. These are not queens who go on social media, make a post, and get a check for $300. Because that's, how Instagram works. For example, these are not queens who make a video, get a sponsorship, and they have $5,000 for 3 hours of work. These are queens who work, who really had to work for their money, and they came with amazing outfits. I'm going to release a video about all of this because it reached a point where it's become unbearable. So suffice it to say, she looks amazing. The edit, we're going to talk about the edit. Let's move on to episode 1, shall we? Now, episode 1 has a lot of expositions. We have a ton of queens prompted to talk. Did I say prompted? I mean, concerned about the All-Stars experience, the competition, the second way to win, how is everything going to work out, how they feel about being in there. Of course, it's all completely spontaneous. That's why the moment they start talking about all of these things concerning the inner working of All-Stars, they all look incredibly genuine and not at all out of place. This goes for all of them. So I guess that probably behind the plastic wall, there was a producer saying to Darian, start talking about the fashion games. And then Darian is there like doing their best being to James like, so what do you think they're going to do? How are we going to do all of this? And I'm like, oh god, this is so boring. It was a terrible start to... We know how All-Stars work. We don't need to have the queens waste precious screen time talking about Drag Race. Talk about you. I'm watching for you. I am literally watching for you. I'm watching for these girls. 10% is because I like RuPaul, because I like Michelle, because I even like the hilarious Ross Matthews for the wrong reason. But 90% is the queens. I'm interested in them. I'm interested in their stories. I'm interested in their art. I'm not interested in exposition for All-Stars. I'm going to watch All-Stars anyway. I'm watching the episode already. But we spend a ton of time doing a ton of exposition. And it's the most boring thing because it's done in the laziest possible way. So after this, we have a mini challenge, which consists in the queens showcasing a couple of dresses that they spent thousands of dollars on. Of course, by this point, I am already triggered. So I am not enjoying this. They look fantastic, but I cannot stop to appreciate how fantastic they look, thinking about how much money they spent. This is not a regular season, this is All-Stars. Expectations are incredibly high, and most of these queens probably felt compelled to spend money that they didn't have for this. So in order to not enable this, I'm going to entirely skip this challenge, or mini challenge, or I don't know, mini wallet at this point, since that's where the money for the dresses came from. It's not like VH1 or World of Wonder or Paramount Plus or MTV or whatever the fuck they are streaming this today gave them a cent for buying all of these things, but they're more than happy to profit from all of it. Call them stupid. Let's move on to the Maxi Challenge. Maxi Challenge. I transformed in Jessica Wilde. Maxi Challenge will be inspired by Phantom Bailey and Randy Barbado. If you don't know who these two nice, good-looking men are, they are the producers of RuPaul's Drag Race, they are the founders of World of Wonder, they are the multi-millionaires behind the Drag Race franchise. That's correct. All those hundreds of millions of dollars generated by the Drag Race franchise worldwide, they get a cut of that. So the number will be inspired by them. And it's a way to catch two birds with one stone, really, because on one hand, you avoid paying royalties, music royalties, by having somebody else's song, because this is their own songs. So you don't pay money. And then, of course, you celebrate yourself, because why not? It's Drag Race, it's produced by these two people, so why not insert themselves into the competition? This reminds me a lot of season 13. Do you remember when we had that guy with the ugly-ass purses? This reminds me a lot of that. But regardless, we have Fenton and Randy there, because if you can't make money exploiting yourself, how the hell are you going to make money exploiting somebody else? So there we have it. It's the most uninspired challenge in All-Stars. The queens will write lyrics for this incredibly relevant song, relevant and successful. And how do you call something that becomes cult? This piece of cult music, if you dare calling it music. So the queens will write lyrics, record vocals, we don't see them record vocals of course, and perform a choreo on stage. Now, since of course this performance is incredibly self-referential, since there is no way to actually judge what they're doing. As usual, like all of these numbers, we get to see what the edit allows us to see. As we know, on All Stars and on the main season, they record all of these performances twice. So it's really, really a hint on the narratives that we get once the queens are finally judged. Or what we get to see on screen at the end of the day is the kind of narratives that they want to push. Now, it's not only that we have 3 episodes to review today. I really didn't like episode 1. I really didn't like the fact that they had to bring Fenton and Randy in there for some reason with their ugly ass song. It's also, you know, the fact that it's impossible to judge this. They look amazing, and I will keep it at that. So, at some point, for some reason, we get to the main stage. Ross is thrilled, of course, as usual, is, of course, thinking about his husband, his dog, his shack, his whatever it is. Can we zoom in on Ross? Because he looks like he couldn't be bothered. Where is it? Oh, there we go. Look at Ross. It's like, oh dear God, I'm here again. At least the money is good. He is very, very motivated, but at least Adele Dazeem is in there. At least we have Adele Dazeem. If you don't know who Adele Dazeem is, shame on you. You lost a piece of history. So, Kana wins. And Darienne and Monica are in the bottom. Now, according to the queens on Roscoe's, and I need to thank Farrowin for this. If you don't know who Farrowin is, she's a longtime viewer who, after find out that I realized that the guests on Roscoe's were mostly eliminated queens, and knowing that I don't like spoilers, knowing that I like to go blind on all of this, she offered to make recaps of Roscoe's for me so that I don't have to go through that and get spoiled. So thank you so much, Farrowin. Every time you hear me saying something from Roscoe's, it comes from her. And I really appreciate the support. I appreciate any support. So, according to the queens of Roscoe's, Darienne didn't deserve the bottom, which is interesting. Which is really, really interesting. Why was Darienne in the bottom if she didn't deserve to be in the bottom? So we're going to talk about this in the speculations as well. Now, talking about Kana, she seemed to be portrayed very positively for a queen that I guess most of us saw her coming in the workroom and thinking, well, somebody has to go home first. Let's be honest, it's just, that's what I thought. There is no malice behind it. It's just the first thing that came through my mind. So the fact that she's been portrayed very positively, and she was put front and center of episode 1 and also episode 2, because we do see her a lot, makes me think that they are trying to give her a little bit of a redemption from her season, because her season was incredibly uneventful for her. While here in All Stars, she really started with a bang. But don't get it twisted, she is not our winner, so we're going to start shitting on her already in episode 2. So, Kana lip syncs against Aja, and Aja wins, and they decide to send Monica home. The group voted for Monica. Now, we didn't get to see actually the queens saying Darienne didn't deserve to be at the bottom, of course, on Drag Race, because it's been edited. But I mean, when many queens come outside of Drag Race and actually say, this person deserved this person deserved that, I kind of tend to believe them. So, you know, there's that. Now, there is something interesting happening in Untucked. Now, chat, did you notice, if you still remember, did you notice anything interesting happening in the first Untucked in episode 1? While you think about it, I'm having a little bit of lime water, because it's going to be a long night. We're 30 minutes in, and we're barely done with episode 1. Well, I told you we were going to come back with a bang. We missed last episode, and the first episode of All Stars, it's always 2 episodes. So this is the first time that... Is it the first time that we cover 3 episodes in a live stream? Oh no, I think not. Johnny, Monica looked defeated. Not really. Not really. Yes, she did look defeated, but that's not it. Something happens in Untucked with Alexis Michelle. So, of course, Monica looks defeated. She starts talking about her feeling. When she's done, Alexis Michelle comes out and, she gets emotional. She's like, I completely understand it. I completely understand how being here can overcome you because of your expectations, because you don't know how you're going to be perceived, because you don't know. She's not saying this, but we all know it. You don't know if the investment that you made will actually pay off. We don't know all of these things. So she starts crying. The problem is, the moment Alexis Michelle starts crying, everybody is bitch-facing, and we have a confessional of James conveying the idea that, yeah, she's being a little bit disingenuous. Is she? Now, I like to believe that I can clock crocodile tears. And we do have some queens with questionable tears, because what's the problem? The problem is that production transformed Untucked from the queens going at each other's throat to the crying game. Somewhere around season 10, Untucked became the crying game. A space in which the queens are encouraged to open up, to be emotional, to let everything out. That's what Untucked has become. When the queens come to Untuck, they are more open to the idea. How can I say it? Their mindset is already there. It's like, I don't know if they take it as a safe place or if they keep all that they have bubbling inside. They keep it pushed down and then they finally let it go during Untucked because they know that they can do that. I don't know why, but Untucked has become the crying game. So who is there to judge these people for becoming emotional during Untucked? I mean, you see the tears, you hear the voice, she's crying. Those are not like, oh my god, I'm so crying with a hand on your eyes and that the makeup is perfect, So I'm like, this feels incredibly gratuitous. And I'm asking you, in a season where the Queens of Colors are all Miss Congeniality, where the most probable winner is going to be a Queen of Color, is going to be a Latina queen, who do we have left to make into a villain? Because if it's not a Queen of Color, it has to be a bigger queen. So Alexis Michelle is in there. And, yeah. The edit didn't pass on the opportunity to shit a little bit on Alexis. Now, I don't know how many of you could empathize with her, but I was there. During season 9. I wasn't doing the reviews yet, but I saw the backlash, especially because we still had the subreddit. It was not in somebody else's hand yet. So people really lashed out like there was no tomorrow for basically nothing. So it's not a good look for Alexis. It's not a good look for Alexis. Romance. Alexis is the drag mother of Jan, so it's time to shit on Jan's mother. Oh my god, we're going to make that a thing. We're going to make that a thing. When it happens again, we're going to make that a thing. Alvaro, since when Alexis is a big girl? She's not a thin girl, but considering, that we don't have proper big girls apart from Candy Muse, she is as big as you can get. And she's Alexis Michelle, so why not shit on her? Moving on to episode 2. So, Ru comes in and announces that we don't have a mini challenge, because fuck those. Instead, we have a maxi challenge. It's going to be starring in a sketch comedy show called RDR Live, a live performance. The queens will only get one take to record what they need to record. Now, the sketches are mostly atrocious, because of course they are written by production, they're not written by the queens, and the queens need to choose the less of two evils by choosing which kind of sketch they want to perform. Now, when it comes to assigning the actual roles, Neisha wants a specific role, and then she ends up giving it away without a second thought. But outside in Roscoe's, she actually talked about it, and she said, well, I didn't fight for my role because I didn't want to give production footage of me fighting and wanting a role only to end up falling at that role, which, it's like throwing gasoline on the fire. You already do badly in an acting challenge, and she knows that she is not exactly an acting queen, so she knows she has a great chance of doing badly. But if you also fought for that role, well, then it's even a worse look. So she feared the possibility of a production making a storyline out of it. So she was like, you know what, whatever it is, give me the role. If I'm good, I'm good, and we're going to call it a day. Now that I think about it, we never saw anything like that happen, did we? A queen fighting for a role and then ending up in the bottom. Gosh, when was season 15? Like 4 weeks ago? It's not like we never saw it before. I tend to believe Neisha. Her tone seemed very pointed on social media recently, I will give you that. But I think she has a point when she said this. I think she absolutely has a point. Now, also, she spilled that producers asked her and Monica to have a mirror moment in episode 1. Oh, good Lord. Oh, good Lord. And she also alleged that a producer told her to think about twice about what she was going to say when she was going to go live. So, of course, take all of these things with a grain of salt. Now, independently, yes, Blazing, I saw it as well. So, independently of the general reception of Neisha, which seemed to look pretty pissed online, and also taking it on other people, which is the worst way to deal with your feelings. These things that she said actually make sense to me. Actually makes sense, because production loves to see queens fighting for a role only to end up being in the bottom, and production loves to have mirror moments for queens before they go home, usually a little bit before they go home, but they want them to have mirror moments. That's part of producing characters for Drag Race. So all of these things make sense to me, and I'm going to keep it at that. Now, for the Maxi Challenge, we have an opening number with Neisha, James, Lala, and Heidi. Now, the queens are doing their best, but the script is honestly terrible. It's terrible. It's desperately trying to be funny. It's using Drag Race references. It's always the same references. The writers are desperately trying to make this as self-referential as possible, but those quotes have been beaten to death already. And they were beaten to death already 2 years ago. You cannot keep going with the same Drag Race material over and over and over again. Yes, I get it. Some quotes are iconic. Yes, they are immortal. Yes, but they are beating them to death. You cannot just come in the writing room and write down a character that says occur and say, okay, yes, that's a character. I characterized my character, and that's it. And you call it a day. Drag Race quote, oh, yes, that's creative writing 101. So, I mean, I did not enjoy this segment. I thought that the queens did badly, but when you go down to it, the writers gave them nothing to work with. Now, if you are good at comedy, then somehow you can make lemonades out of lemon. But if you're not even good to begin with, like basically all of these queens except for Jane's, what are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with it? It makes no sense. It was cringe. I did not enjoy this. But I want to commend the queens for trying to do the best they could with the little they had, because that's a talent of its own. Now, for the second sketch, we have the always beautiful and blushing Candy Muse and Mrs. Kasha Davis. Now, the material is only half terrible compared to the first sketch, and the queens are doing generally very well. There is a rumor out there that Candy was allowed to refilm her sketch. I don't know about that. I did check the footage trying to see if they spliced it at some point, and I couldn't find anything. And you should know I am pretty good at these kind of things. So either they stepped up their game, or this was not exactly refilmed. Nevertheless, I think that they are not doing bad. Kasha is amazing. Candy is doing the best she can, and she is okay. She's okay. So I did enjoy this segment a little bit more. Moving on to the best part of the old challenge. Sorry. Jimbo, Jessica, and Kasha. Kasha is unrecognizable. I have no idea who the fuck she was. I was like, who is she? Who jumped on stage? This was amazing. This was literally the best segment out of all of them. The queens were fantastic, the material was good, and this really helped them, but they did the best out of it. This was genuinely funny. This was really, really well done. And it's so fucking surreal. It's surreal. When Kasha came in the stage, it was surreal. I don't know how else to describe it. It was really good. It was really good. Jimbo was fantastic. A great example of characterization that doesn't need to be loud to actually get her performance across. It was done really, really well. This was the highlight of the Maxi Challenge until now. Moving on to the sketch number 4. We have Heidi, Lala, and Kahana. Now, the script is terrible again. The queens are doing their best that they could, but they are clearly not comedy queen. There is no characterization whatsoever. You can see that they are trying to work it out. Heidi is trying to be self-referential with her whistle talking, but most of all, the impression that I have is that they all look out of place. Now, if this challenge was, if these sketches were judged as a group, this for me would be the worst group because it had no real redeeming qualities, unfortunately. So it was really, really bad. Now, I do appreciate that they put effort in it, that they try to do something with it. They just, sometimes you see these queens that do their challenges but they already look defeated. So they are trying. God knows they are trying, but the material is terrible. They are not really comedy queen. They have no characterization whatsoever, and this segment was really terrible. I don't know how else to describe it. It's cringe. It was really, really cringe. So for me, Kana was clearly the worst, possibly followed by Heidi. Moving on to the sketch number 5. We have Darian and Alexis, and this was amazing. Now, they have incredible timing. You can see that these queens have comedic timing. They created full characters. The script is not good as usual because it comes from the writing room of RuPaul's Drag Race, so don't expect anything actually worth your time. But the queens are working it out. They're doing an amazing job. It was really, really well done. Their group was the best next to Jimbo, Jessica, and Kasha. These were literally the best performances of the night. And I did appreciate this. Everything else, I would have preferred not to see it. Now, one interesting thing that actually happens. Oh, this is the lip sync already. One of the interesting things that I noticed is that James basically disappeared from the challenge. If you notice, she was only briefly on screen for, where is it? For the first sketch. And it was not that much time at all. Neisha as well. Those are the only two queens who we see really, really briefly. Why is that? Because we know James. We know she's good at comedy. We know she has comedic timing. I wouldn't go as far as put her on the same level of Kasha Davis, for example, or Darian Lake. She's on her way, for sure. But not necessarily there yet. But she can do comedy. We know that. We have seen that. So why not showcase her more? I think that one of the reasons, there are really two possible reasons. Because Neisha we only saw in this segment, and we saw her flop badly. James was a mixed bag. So what really happened in there? I see only two possible explanations. Either she did amazing, but they didn't really want her to outshine all the other queens who were supposed to shine in this episode, or she didn't do that good. She did okay, but not that good. Regardless, Neisha and James are the only two queens who we saw the least out of all of them. Now, moving on. Let's go to the main stage, because Jimbo wins the challenge. I would have been happy with Jessica as well. I would have been happy with Alexis. I would have been happy with Darian. I think when it comes down to main stage, she had the best look. That was the best look. But then it begs the question, when do we take looks into account and when we don't take looks into account? Because you know how it works on Drag Race. Sometimes we take looks into account if they follow the narrative. If they don't, we ignore them. So I would have been happy with any of these four. And since it's Drag Race and it has a habit of giving wins for whatever reason, I'm happy that one of the actual four who really deserve to win this challenge actually won. Now, of course, by complete chance, Pan is here. She's going to lip sync against Jimbo so that Jimbo can lose on more than 2 iterations of Drag Race. Because why not? If you collect lip sync losses, Jimbo is right up there. And of course, Jimbo loses the lip sync. Now, the curious thing is that there are a lot of people thinking that the lip sync assassins are chosen beforehand, and independently of who wins the challenge, you will have lip sync assassin, I don't know, number 2 on episode 2, number 3 on episode 3. The reality is more mixed. Some queens are asked as guests as lip sync assassin, and depending on the queen, she will decide on one song and one only. She will prepare that song, and that will not change. What might change is the date when she actually lip syncs. But of course, you need a little bit of wiggle room. So you will also have some other queens who agree to come, be lip sync assassin, and prepare 2, 3, or 4 songs, depending when it's more convenient to actually see them on stage. In addition to that, we do see all of the queens come in with already half of their makeup done. So in all likelihood, what happens is that all of the lip sync assassins are in there in the hotel. They all prepare their makeup, and after production actually sees the challenge and see the kind of storylines that they want to portray, they will decide for one specific lip sync assassin to come in and perform. Now think about these poor queens doing their makeup every day only to take it off because they were not called. Fuck my drag, right? So, Jimbo loses the lip sync, and the group sends Elimination home, which is a good thing because she was not doing really well in the competition. It looks like she's not handling it very well on social media right now, and that was only 2 episodes. Imagine if it was 6. So, since I'm always here to wish the best upon people, even if I really don't particularly like them, I think it's a good thing that she went home so soon. Now, moving on to episode 3. Episode 3, we are back in the workroom, and it's time to shit on Kahana because we celebrated her a little bit too much already. We don't want the public to think that she actually has a chance of winning all of this. So we have this moment in which she's counting the lipsticks, who voted for who, and Jessica comes out and say, well, I did vote for you, Kahana. I had my reasons. And while she explains all of this, we have shady noises, of course, playing in the background. We have Kahana bitch-facing, all of this while Jessica is talking. And the general idea that it's conveyed in here is that Kahana is pissed while Jessica had all of the rights to choose whoever she wanted to choose. So the narrative in here is pretty clear. They're already making a dent into Kahana's head. Much like we saw happen already back in All Stars 5 with what was her name? I completely forgot. Damn, my memory is not working as it should. But we saw happening before. We saw Queens get like a mini redemption edit, but it looks like production doesn't really want them to go all the way. It looks like they're doing her a favor. It's like, okay, I'm sorry that you didn't get hair time. I see that you prepared a lot, so you will be shining, but not too much. Not too much. We don't really want to convince anyone that you have an actual chance of winning all of this. And I think this was the purpose of this moment, because we see queens voting for other queens who at the end were not sent home. But this is really the first time in this past 2 episodes where we have a moment like this, pushed like this. And I think that it's pretty telling about the intention that production has concerning Kahana. Now, moving to the Maxi Challenge, it's going to be a suing challenge, thank God. It's going to be a supermarket ball. The queens will bring 2 dresses from home, but one they will have to do from scratch. Now, personally, when it comes to sewing challenges, I don't care what they brought from home because, again, it's a sewing challenge. So I don't know who made your outfits outside of Drag Race. I don't know if you made it yourself. I don't know if you paid somebody to do it. And usually during the course of Drag Race, yes, we can take those outfits into account. But if it's a design challenge, then I really don't care about whatever you brought from home. I only care about the things that you make in the workroom. And that's the only thing that I'm going to be judging. Now, in the workroom, we do see, apart from the pit crew, we do see Lala and Candy struggling, but we also see Candy and Kahana laughing at Kasha's outfit. So out of those 3 queens, 2 will get a redemption edit, 1 will be sent home. So this is just your appetizer before the challenge actually began. I thought it was kind of... I mean, I do understand that the queens are there, they are friends, they laugh at each other, whatever it is. I don't know the context for that, but we get to see it, and I don't know if it's more of a bad look on Kasha's outfit or on Kahana, who is laughing at the outfit. So I don't know. I don't know which one of the 2 it is. It's very ambivalent. So it leaves the opportunity for everybody to see whatever they want into this. Either Kasha did a shit job, or Kana is a little bit bitchy because she's laughing at somebody struggling. You know, everything generate clicks, so why not give a little bit of an ambiguous reading to this situation? Blazing, I understand that you will only critique the third look, but can we point out how beautiful Heidi look in her strawberry assemble? I didn't like the skirt. Am I the only one? I didn't like it. I really didn't like it. I like the dairy look from Heidi. That was beautiful. That was fantastic. But no, I didn't like the strawberry one. I didn't like it. I didn't like the proportion of it. And then again, for everybody, you know that I have my own peculiar taste, which is no taste, but you're here for hearing that. So for whatever reason, I'm going to give you my opinion on that. It's an uninformed opinion. We are on that deal. That's the deal. Now, how are we going to judge all of this? How are we going to judge? We're going to do it our usual way. So, since I have no sense of real fashion, and even if I had, it would be my peculiar taste, in an effort to make it as objective as possible, as usual, I created 3 categories. And I'm going to give points, 0 to 5 points for each category, and at the end of the day, whoever has the most points is probably the person who deserves to win the most. Of course, my subject, as far as I'll try to be as objective as possible, and this is a method that forces you to be as objective as possible, but at the end of the day, there's always a hint of subjective opinion in there, so don't take it as gospel. So I'm going to give points based on effort, which means the amount of work that actually went into the dress, the amount of materials that actually went into creating the dress, and the general effort that was put into putting the outfit together. Then there's going to be execution, and this is really about the execution of the dress itself, which means if you're hot gluing, I don't want to see hot glue marks. I want to see seams very well put together. If you're sewing, I don't want to see pieces of fabric hanging around. It's really about your skill, as your ability to put together an outfit. And then the final category is going to be the overall concept. How much does the concept work? How good it reflects the category, and generally how well is presented. So let's do this. I'm going to show you the dresses. I'm sorry I have low resolution for this, so I hope that you remember very well the dresses. And I will have all of my points on the bottom left side of the screen so that you can already get an idea. Now, Jimbo. When it comes to Jimbo, I thought she put a very good effort into this. She created this dress using plastic salad. Of course, the category is supermarket supermodel, so the more it brings us back to the idea of supermarket and gives it a sense of fashion, that's what we are looking for. So for me, she used different materials. They are glued on a corset, so there's that. But to me, it's a very good effort. So I would give her 4 points out of 5 for this. The execution is flawless. It looks good. It's well done. You don't see pieces hanging around. She did a really, really great job. She gets full points for me on this. And the concept works really, really well. It doesn't blow my mind, so I wouldn't give her full points on the concept. But I think that 4 out of 5 is a solid a solid score for her work. So for me, at the end, she gets 13 out of 15 points, and she's very well deserving to be in the top for this dress. Moving on to Kahana. Now, Kahana, she put a ton of effort putting this together. I think that the idea works really well. The execution left me a little bit dubious because when the camera rolls around, they seem to somehow point to the underside of the dress so that you can actually see pieces of how it's been constructed. Now, of course, the dress itself brings you, it's made in a way not to obfuscate the underside of the dress. So for me, I'm taking away a point for the execution. The concept overall works really well. It screams supermodel. I don't really see supermarket. That's my only problem that I have with this. Overall, I think that she did a really good job, but I'm not so convinced about the concept. Moving on to James. Now, James is a seamstress, so of course you know that she put a ton of effort into this. She used a ton of different materials. She gets full point on effort and execution because she knows exactly what she's doing. What she falls for me is the concept itself. Not that she doesn't have a concept. She does have a concept, and as far as I'm concerned, in the strict definition of the term, she's the only one on that stage with a concept. She even made a prop, but it doesn't scream supermarket supermodel to me. Maybe in the 50s. But when you use the term supermodel, what I'm thinking of is fashion forward, not fashion retro. So for me, that's the only thing that really that's not working with this. Nevertheless, at the end of the day, I gave her 13 out of 15 points, which is as much as Jimbo and Kana, because I think that she did a really, really good job. But the concept was not a strong concept for me. It was not. Moving on to Candy Muse. Now, Candy, she should turn this and burn this. It looks like there is no effort whatsoever. There is a cutout with aluminum wrap over it, and then this aluminum plastic thing that she somehow molded into a skirt. There is nothing in the behind. And if you try to notice it, when we see actually Candy going back toward the entrance of the main stage, the camera doesn't show us her back because there is nothing there. There is nothing there. So I gave her 2 points for the effort because this is incredibly low effort. It's like she didn't even have a concept. The execution, I'm being generous, I gave her 3 points out of 5 because considering that this is Candy, this is not what she does best, you can clearly see that at least she tried to execute it at the best of her abilities, but this is no concept. This is no concept. This is, I mean, supermarket supermodel. That was the concept for the runway. And this is what Candy is serving. Now, I don't want to hold her to that because, of course, I do feel the struggle. I do feel the struggle for somebody who can barely cut the end of its own pants and sew it. I do perfectly understand the struggle. But we are here to judge the runway. We are here to judge the dress. And this is one of the worst for me. She gets 7 out of 15 points, which is about 45% of the points. And I feel like I'm being generous. I really feel like I'm being very generous. I'm sorry, Candy. I'm sorry, but this is what I think about this. Moving on to Alexis. Now, Alexis, she put a ton of effort putting this outfit together. You can see that she clearly took time to prepare the concept. She put a ton of different materials together. She, believe it or not, that skirt is a paper bag, so I think it was executed beautifully. I'm not so convinced about the top, but once you get the close-up, I think it works really, really well. I think she did a fantastic job on this one. The concept doesn't necessarily scream supermarket supermodel to me, so I only gave her 4 points on the concept. but I think that overall she looked fantastic. She did the assignment pretty well. In the end, she has 13 points for me. And the makeup is fantastic. I mean, look at her. Even if this is not exactly high resolution, she looks fantastic. She literally has some of the best makeup skills in the cast. Sorry, my voice is going away a little bit. She did very, very well. She did very, very well for me. Moving on to Lala. Now, Lala has me puzzled because for me there was not much effort put into this. It's only one kind of material. The construction is incredibly simple. It's executed well, yes, I will give you that, but there is also not much to execute in there, is it? And the concept is incredibly simple. I mean, at the end of the day, Lala comes from the bag bowl, where she had glued a ton of bags, you know, and called it a day. So this is a fantastic improvement compared to what she did before. But compared to what everybody else is doing, it's a little bit too simple. For me, it's too simple. I think that it's barely safe. At the end of the day, for me, this is barely safe. I don't know how many of you do agree with this. It's not that she looks bad. She doesn't. She looks good. But this is a sewing challenge, and that's a folded piece of fabric. So I don't know how we want to call it. Elevated materials, whatever it is. I'm not. This doesn't convince me. Again, props to her, because this looks like $1 million compared to what she served the ball before. But I'm not comparing her to herself. This is what she should do, and she should be proud of. I'm here to compare her to what everybody else is doing. And for me, this is barely safe. Barely. Moving on to Darian. Now, Darian looks, I think, possibly even worse than Lala. I mean, she put different materials in there. The execution is... I mean, that's not... Sorry. That's not the execution point. It's a problem. It's the concept part, because what she does, she sews that. Parts of it are glued together. It's the craftsmanship is there, and I do see it. But the concept itself is catastrophic. It's not really working for me. It's too little materials, yet somehow it still feels like it is too much. I don't understand it. I think that the makeup looks beautiful. Everything else should be turned and burned. I don't like this. I don't like this. I'm sorry. I gave her 3 points on the concept, but looking back, it should probably be 2. I did not like this in the slightest. I don't think it's even flattering for her. So I know that, you know, she was doing her best. This is not by far the worst dress of the night for me, but I don't know. Sometimes there is a voice in my head that tells me that this is the stuff nightmares are made of. I don't know if it's been too shady. That's what I was thinking. Well, it's okay. Okay, it's barely safe for me. Her dress is barely safe. Moving on to Jessica, the rightful winner of this challenge. To me, she is 10s across the board. The only category in which I didn't give her full points is the effort. I gave her 4 out of 5 because that's a corset. The same problem that Jimbo had. That's corset and you had put stuff on it. Now, it looks together, the overall concept is fantastic. It screams flower shop, not really supermarket. I don't know if in the US supermarkets have flower corners. Where I live, it's 2 different kind of things. So that's maybe we can discuss how much she is matching the concept, but overall she looks fantastic. For me, she really is. She did the best job out of everyone. And yes, I do understand that it's corset with stuff on it, but at the end of the day, I think this is a prime example also of something that is simple yet looks beautiful. Because once we move to Kasha Davis, that's the definition of you put everything on. You just put everything on. I don't know. I feel sorry for Kasha. I feel sorry. I can see that she put a ton of effort into this. She used a ton of different materials. She tried her best to create this piñata concept, whatever it is. I can see the effort. The problem is that the execution is barely sufficient, and the concept is terrible. The concept doesn't work. That doesn't scream supermodel at all. That screams desperation, and I relate to that desperation a lot. I do. But to me, this, next to Candy, this was the worst outfit of the night. I cannot give her a pass. Of course, she is being very down to earth in the competition, saying, well, I don't know how to sew. I pay people to sew for me. What I do is something else. So I do understand that. But then again, you come to Drag Race, you gotta be able to do a little bit of something. It doesn't have to be astonishing, but you know your silhouette. Take a couple of months of sewing lessons. Learn to dress for one specific silhouette with one specific concept that is vague enough that you can easily make it into whatever it is. It doesn't take much to look half decent in a sewing challenge on Drag Race if you take a couple of months to prepare. And this is the challenge where everybody falls badly. Like, we have tons of challenges on Drag Race. Some queens do good, some queens do bad, but sewing challenges are the ones where we literally see some queens doing catastrophically bad. So take a couple of lessons of sewing challenges if you want to go on Drag Race. It's an investment. I mean, at the end of the day, as Lala Ree can confirm, you can become iconic. Do you remember when I said, when it was? Oh, the past video on the main channel. When I said you never know what's going to work on Drag Race. This is Lala Ree. This is exactly Lala Ree. You never know what's going to work. But if you want to look good in these challenges, or at least not giving them an excuse to send you blatantly home, take a couple of months of sewing lessons. I mean, it's also good for you, you know. Sometimes you find things that you're like, oh my god, this looks beautiful, but I would like this thing tailored a little bit more to my body. But I'm certainly not going to pay someone 50 or 100 euros to tailor a shirt that I paid 30 euros for, you know. But if you can do it yourself, that's, you know, it's not just for Drag Race. That's what I wanted to say. And then last but not least, Heidi. Now, Heidi put a ton of effort into this. She took a lot of different materials and she tried a different silhouette than everybody else is doing. And I think she deserved the praise for that. The execution is mostly good. What I didn't like is the overall concept. This doesn't really scream supermarket supermodel to me. And I don't like this sort of, what is it, like a double skirt that she has? One that starts at her stomach and the other one in the bottom. I didn't like it. I don't think it fits well. It doesn't scream supermarket. Maybe it can scream futuristic supermodel if she made it a little bit more sci-fi, yes. But this is far from one of the best concepts that we saw tonight. So for me, she gets 12 points, which puts her in a high position. But later on, when we're going to be talking Untucked, it seemed a little bit delusional to think that she actually had a chance to win this compared to what everybody else was doing. This was not by far a bad dress, but I think it's pretty obvious to everyone that it's not the best dress that we saw on the stage. There are at least a couple that are clearly better, in my opinion. Now, moving on to a couple of critiques. We don't have much. We don't have much because, of course, the light of T.S. Madison is shining upon us. So we have very, very little bullshit going on, which is a good thing. The critiques will be back when the hilarious Ross Matthews graces us on the main stage again. So we have a little bit of overpraise for Lala. That's overpraise. I wouldn't have put her in the bottom for her dress, absolutely not. But for me, she was a low safe. For me, this was a low safe. We have a little bit of tear down for Jimbo. We have Michelle saying that it's a corset with stuff glued on. So is Jessica. But of course, since it's Jessica's turn to win, we will hear this kind of critique only for Jimbo. So there's a little bit of that. Now, Michelle also tells Candy that she always presents the same silhouette to the judges, and then they try to perform a triple somersault to justify not putting her in the bottom, because there is not even a shape to whatever she is wearing. I wouldn't even call them clothes fit for people. I mean, Candy, you are amazing. I love Candy Buse, but please don't make an outfit. Your character is your strength. Rely on that. Outfits? No. No, absolutely not. Also, please grow a beard because you're sexy with a beard. And I said it again, and I'm not going to take it back. With that said, she deserved the bottom for this. She and Kasha should have been in the bottom for this. I don't think that Darianne did a good job, but she was on par with Lala for me. She was on par with Lala. Candy should have been in the bottom. I don't know how many of you agree with this. I hope that we're all in an agreement, that I'm not being delusional, but I really, really didn't like what Candy brought on stage. The only positive thing is that she's half naked. And there, I said it again. Moving on to Untucked, shall we? So we move on to Untucked, and it's time to shit on Heidi. So, do you remember in the very beginning when I told you that there is something off about Heidi? Now, first of all, tell me if you felt it as well, that there was something off about Heidi, so that I don't feel delusional as well. What I noticed, from my point of view, is that back in season 12, Heidi was very, I don't want to use the word relatable, because you know the connotation that that word has on this channel, but she was very relatable. I mean, she was a queen from a small town trying to make it big on Drag Race, with a lot of dreams, with a lot of hopes, with a lot of desperation, with, whatever she had, she brought on Drag Race. And she did the best with what she had. And that was endearing to watch. People fell in love with that. I fell in love with that. Because we all like a good redemption story at the end. We like people doing the best that they can. And even if they don't win, at least get something good out of it. Being recognized, being seen, being valued, if not for what they achieve, for the amount of effort that they put in trying to achieve it. This was Heidi in season 12. And I think that we all fell in love with that. We all fell in love with the personality. The problem is that coming to All Stars, I don't think that that person is there anymore. She made experiences, she knew a different side of life, if you will. She changed in a way, which is not necessarily a bad thing. I don't know if you noticed, But in the workroom, in the very, very first image for the workroom, let me give it out. Let me see if I can find it. Here. Let me see if I can put it back. Sorry, my voice is going away. I'm really not well yet. Do you see the bag that she's holding? That's her merch. I think I didn't research this. This is what my partner told me. That's her trademark. So she has it on multiple things already. So when the Heidi of back in season 12 was there for a dream, for changing her life, for trying to make it big, this one is here to have more. And I feel like we lost Heidi, and what we got in All Stars was the Heidi character, which is a portrayal of Heidi as she was, or at least as I think she perceives she was in season 12, portrayed by Heidi. And that's what's not clicking. That's what's not clicking. She's not that person anymore. Plain and simple. Now she knows the privilege of having a credit card, that it's not maxed out by the end of the week. She can buy things that she wants. She's not in that situation of need anymore. So naturally, she has become a different person. We saw something like this happen already with Latrice when she came back for All Stars. It didn't click again. She seemed like she came off a little, I don't know, privileged. I don't know how to say it. Like, she deserves to be given things, period. You know, that feeling, that vibe came across from her head. And I think that's a natural thing that comes when you get out of a situation of need. You know what is living instead of just surviving, and you change. But I think that's the problem. She is there portraying the Heidi character and not the Heidi that is here today, the person that is here today. That is not clicking for me. And the producers are showing this. They're not trying to hide it. Much like what happened to Latrice back in All Stars 4. They're doing the same with Heidi. They are showing the breakdowns. They are showing her they are kind of showing her in a light that makes her look entitled. They're taking advantage of this. A natural change exploited for television. So, in this moment of Untucked, we have exactly 3 different moments in which we are shitting on Heidi. In moment number 1, Heidi is pissed that she's not on the top. And of course, we have James and Kahana bitch-facing. After this, we take a little bit of a pause because it's time to laugh at Candy a little bit. And this was genius. Alexis is genius because everybody noticed the Candy blush inspired by Rosé back in season 13. She does it every time. It was genius. It was really, really funny. But the moment this ends, the queens are back. And guess what happens? Jimbo asks Heidi why she is upset. Jimbo, the one who really looks like he doesn't give a fuck about anything in the competition. Jimbo looks like he doesn't even care. It's like, I'm getting television, I'm getting exposure. It's good. I don't give a shit about winning. I don't give a shit about your $250,000, which, if all goes well, after taxes, maybe I make back money that I was supposed to invest for this? Fuck you. I'm going to have a good time. I'm going to get publicity. I'm going to give you television if you want it. But I don't care about anything. So very suspiciously, Jimbo comes out and asks Heidi why she's upset. And of course, Heidi denies, but she is pissed. And also James is pissed that Heidi is pissed. And everyone is bitch-facing. And James explains in a confessional that everybody else is busting their ass in the competition. And you don't have to think like you are the only one who is hardworking. And so you deserve just because you are the only one who is hardworking. Do you see the narrative of entitlement in here? Do you see the narrative? Now, of course, if Heidi is in her feeling and thought, well, I thought I deserved to win because overall I did this and this and this, and she's in her feeling, it's completely valid. But then again, you lose the perspective of, while you are in your feeling, you lose the perspective of other people's who are also doing the best they can. So what James is saying is valid itself as well. But the way all of this is presented, it's making Heidi look entitled. That's the problem. That's the real problem. So, while the bottom queens plead their case, Candy randomly asks who doesn't agree with the critiques. So it's time to shit on Heidi again. So, Heidi didn't like Jimbo's dairy look. Of course, compared to Heidi's look, I think, was better. Okay, but then again, it's a money game. This is stuff that they brought from home. And as far as I know, none of them are incredible seamstress that could have reasonably done all of their outfits in the month that took between the moment they received the call and the moment that they had to be on Drag Race. So, with that premise said, Heidi didn't like Jimbo's dairy look, and the queens are laughing at her. And then we have a confessional of Jimbo, hinting very, very calmly. That's the point with Jimbo. She's very calm. She's very composed. She's like, you know what? Heidi's in her feeling. And she's not dealing with it very well. She's kind of, taking it on other people who are doing better. And sometimes it happened. And sometimes it's natural, Very, very calmly. That's the point with Jimbo. That Jimbo is a clown 24/7. But the moment he very, very calmly comes in a confessional to talk to us, we listen to him. Because he's not being a clown. For those 3 seconds in which he's not being a clown, we take him seriously. So with this confessional, the narrative is set in stone. Now, how much of that narrative is real? I think a good 20%. It's rooted in reality. Clearly, it's a different Heidi that we have on All Stars than what we saw in Season 12. But it's heavily skewed toward a very specific image. And as you know, if there is one thing that Drag Race likes to do, is to see your heroes become villain. It's somehow priceless. So I would take a close look. I will take a close look to Heidi's edit. Because there is something going on in there. Now, with that said, at some point we have Heidi talking about the fact of possibly leaving the competition. She is pissed, she is in her feeling, but we, the audience, we get a confessional of Candy Muse reminding us that other people would have killed for her spot on All Stars. And again, it makes complete sense what Candy is saying. That's true. A lot of people, a lot of queens are more than happy to go in debt for tens of thousands of dollars and go on All Stars. They are happy to do it. They are happy to sign the contract. They would literally kill for being in Heidi's position. So she is right. She is correct. Problem is, it makes her look entitled again. It makes her look entitled. Heidi is not the first nor the last queen talking about leaving All Stars. And we had Adore actually leaving All Stars. So if at any point you reach your limit and you feel like you cannot take it anymore, All Stars is a job. Okay? It's not a matter of life and death. It's a job. A job is part of your life. It's not your entire life. Your person comes first. So if your person gets compromised that you want to live, to me, I don't give a shit about the narrative. Just go home and take care of yourself. We see it happen multiple times before, and I have nothing but admiration for people who understand the value of themselves over the possibility of getting career advancement while keep staying on Drag Race and completely losing yourself because of that. So I hope that this is not a publicity stunt. I hope that Heidi will really go home and take care of herself, because we had a lot of queens coming in and saying, oh, I want to live, or I want to live, only to be convinced not to live, and then keep staying in there. And it looks like attention whoring. It's not a bad look. So we'll have to see what happens. We'll have to see what happens. Now, for the lip sync, Raja is back and she looks beautiful. Raja always looks fantastic. I did like this lip sync. I did like those coconuts. I kept thinking, jiggle those titties. I had a feeling that Raja was holding back a little bit. I don't know if I'm the only one who noticed that. Definitely the edit was skewed for Jessica, because we saw a lot of moments where Raja was like cut in half on the side of the screen. We saw a lot of Jessica. We saw a lot of her titties. I thought it was a genius stunt to pull. But I had a feeling that Raja was holding back. We saw her lip syncing. To me, it looked like she came on stage and she was like, oh my god, it's Jessica. Wait a second. I know how it feels like. So you know what? Yeah, of course I'm not going to look bad, but I'm not going to outshine you. You know, that's the feeling that I had. That's the feeling that I had. Green Goddess, yes, thank you. Mental health is way more important than money. Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, going to a couple of speculations. Oh, yes, there was a question. Where can you watch All Stars? You can watch it on Paramount Plus. Guys, you can watch on Paramount Plus. Now, for a couple of uninformed speculations, before we take a pause and go to the Kiki time. For me, my top 3 is going to be Triple J. Jessica, for all of the reasons that I explained so far. Then I would go with James, because it looks like she has been given a lot of help during this season. It looks like they're trying to capitalize on what they didn't capitalize back in season 9, which I think is incredibly smart and incredibly deserved. And for me, the third one is going to be Jimbo. Jimbo is killing the competition. He was also shat on really badly in UK versus the world. And I don't know if there was a deal in place that he would make it to the top 4. But if I was Jimbo, when they called, I would say, listen, okay, I will save your shit show, but I will be in the top 4. Not the winner, but top 4. So for me, Jimbo is another queen that has a very good chance to be in the top 4. Now, who is the 4th queen? For me, it can be either Candy Muse or Lalaurie. Both can work really well for me. Why do I say this? Not because I see something particular in the edit or in the way they're being portrayed, but mostly because everybody else has been kind of excluded by the edit. Like Darian was thrown under the bus episode 1, and it's been downhill since then. Kana has a little bit of a redemption edit, but that's just that, because at the first chance that they had to kind of slow down our momentum, they took it. Alexis was already thrown under the bus during Untucked in episode 1, and it's not getting any better. And Heidi is being completely portrayed off-brand. So it's not like we're left with much to work with. As usual, these are uninformed speculations. So the point is to have fun with it. The point is not to be accurate. If you want to be accurate, there are spoilers out there. Please do not leave them in the comments. Do not discuss them in the live chat, because you're ruining my fun. But as long as we're having fun with this, it's all good. If you want it to be accurate, go watch the spoilers. They are usually accurate. At least when I check them when the season is over. Now, somebody told me that they change over time, so they are not accurate. What can I say? Karma. karma. But it makes sense. It makes sense because during the last stream, I think I said they are always accurate. And somebody, no, it was in a comment. Somebody wrote a long paragraph saying that's because you go and fact check them once it's all and done. But if you follow them from the very beginning, they change multiple times. And I was like, oh my God, this is genius. This is genius. Now, let's take a pause. Go smoke a cigarette if you can. I quit smoking 3 or 4 weeks ago, so I am on the electronic cigarette, which could also explain why I'm losing my voice, because I vape a lot. But please, if you do smoke, go smoke a cigarette and think about me. Go to the toilet, get a drink, and I will see you back in 5 minutes for our Kiki time. See you later.
I don't need you to lie. I don't need you to flatter. And your good intentions, they don't really matter. I don't need you to hold me tight or to make it alright. I just need you to shake it, alright, and shake it all night. Shake it up when things start to settle down. Shake it up like it's a snow globe town. The city's like a bottle of sparkling wine. Before I blow it open, let's take some time. Shake it up. Shake it up. You don't need to be chill. I don't ever play it cool. You don't need the right skills. Don't need the right tools. You just need the guts to seize it. To seize it in the middle. You don't exactly know it, but you know it needs a little breaking up. Shake it up. Shake it up. When things start to settle down. Shake it up like it's a snow globe town. The city's like a bottle of sparkling wine. Before I blow it open, let's take some time. Shake it up. Shake it up. These are cynical times. We had to endure so many clinical lines, so little actual cures. When getting money's our religion and love is in need, we sit and watch while our country bleeds. I'm gonna stop trying to get off the hook, and I really don't care if everybody looks. Shake it up. Let me tell you, baby steps won't work. Shake it up. Shake it up. Okay, it just might hurt. The city's like a bottle of sparkling wine. Before I blow it open, let's take some time. Shake it up. Shake it up. Shake it up. Shake it up.
And we're back with the nice Paramount logo in there. That's, yes. That's where I like it. Maybe a little bit larger. So why not? There we go. Ah, Good Lord, I hope you had a good cigarette. I had a little bit of lime water. A little bit of vaping, and here we are. Let's go through some comments. What do we have? Get candy off my screen. Why, Lisa? Why, Lisa, candy off the screen? We love candy. We are candy stands on this. Well, at least me. Not my partner, but at least me. Romance, I do expect Jimbo to win now, perhaps, but I'm also suspicious about Candy or Lala after their positive edit. Well, of course, everything can always happen. The impression that I get from the kind of edits that I see, I think they tell a very, very specific story. Also, keep in mind one thing. Somehow, it seems like World of Wonder takes a whole year to catch up to whatever me and other channels kept saying. Now, if you remember, last year, we complained a lot about the treatment of Latina queens. It was not only me, it was Yuki as well. And over time, we noticed a series of coincidences happening on Drag Race. That somehow, once a topic starts becoming viral, they take it, they apply it. So I wouldn't be surprised if after all of this happens, 3 months later, they start filming for All Stars and they be like, oh, you know what? If we make Jessica Wilde win, they cannot say that we mistreat Latina queens anymore, can they? So it makes, for me, it makes all perfect sense. It makes perfect sense. For me, Jessica is the winner of this season. Victoria says Jessica, Jimbo, and Lala. Marty, Jessica, Jimbo, and Alexis. Yes, I would love Alexis in there as well. I would love Alexis in there as well. Blazing, I need Darian to win at least one thing so she can lip sync. Like, imagine waiting since season 6 to see her again and then we don't see her lip sync. I hope that she will get a chance to shine. And if the producers are smart, they will give her a chance to shine. Because they know that her lip sync was iconic. Not only the lip sync, the commentary from Bianca was iconic. Do you remember when she was like, Darian has this song on cassette when it came out? So if we see Darian winning, then she's going home the episode after. At this point, can we put it officially in the speculations? Article 1. Has anyone seen Jen's review show? Any opinion on that? Jen has a review show? I had no idea. Is she salty? I would be. Jen has her special way of being salty, which is incredibly endearing. So I would watch that. Vitor, I definitely think Lala is going far based on her edit and her interesting critiques. Yeah, I think she's going to do well as well. I don't know top 4. I don't know. It would seem strange to have her top 4. I would say that Candy would have more opportunities to be there, only because she's the only proper big girl. So if we go by representation spots, then you basically have only Candy in there. But yeah, if it's not Candy, Lala. Lala seems to be the most possible at this point. I want to see the season 9 fantasy. James and Alexis need to succeed. I think she will do very well. I think World of Wonder knows that the large public likes James, and we want to see her doing good. She is incredibly unproblematic. She is a very, very hard worker, and these are great quality to have if you want to collaborate with World of Wonder. Article, check it out. Let's just say your theme song is better. Oh my god. That is so shady. What does she do? What happens in there? Let me check that. Let me check that. Does she do that on YouTube? Let's see. Jen review All Stars. Oh my god, yes! She does it. Oh my god, I'm going to watch this before going to bed. I'm going to watch this before going to bed. Victoria says, which queens do you think would fit better for this season? You mean instead of the queens that we had? What do you mean? I don't think would have fit better for this season. Well, that depends. It's not really about single queens. Casting for Drag Race has a lot to do with the chemistry of the cast itself. How well the cast work together and is entertaining in its own right. I will give you an example. Think back of season 14. I thought the cast had incredible chemistry and it came across on the big screen. Season 15, we had a bunch of talented queens, yet somehow something was missing. It felt like the sparkle was not in there. That's because I think the cast didn't have a great chemistry. An example of cast having terrible chemistry was season 13, for example. So it's really difficult to say. Of course, there are queens that I would like to see on All Stars. I would like to see Jade from season 1, for example. I would be very pleased. I would like to see, on more recent queens, I would like to see Jackie Cox on All Stars. There are when I think about it, there are a bunch of queens that I would like to see on All Stars. But with that said, I don't know if they would fit necessarily the cast. I think that this cast works really well together. I think that Darienne doesn't really fit in there. Mostly because of her approach to the competition. She looks like she looks really tired. I don't know how else to say it. So I would possibly take out Darienne and put a little bit more of a troublemaker in there, because it would work very well with Candy, and it would actually give the possibility of Jimbo to, insert himself and stir the pot a little bit. So if we would take out Darienne, I don't know if it's possible, but somehow I think Violet would have fit great in there. Now I know she's a winner, she will probably be in an all-winner season, but just for the shits and giggles, I think it would have made a great show. Among the non-winners, maybe somebody else from season 13. Maybe Elliot with 2 T's, just to, make it interesting. Why not? Lisa, Jen's review show, the format seems weird. Also, her in full drag and Silky looking like she's about to do a mud mask was hilarious. She does that with the resident queen of Puerto Vallarta, because I don't watch anything with the resident queen of Puerto Vallarta. I still crystal method in here. That I would look. That I would check out. Oh yeah, she did one episode. I'm not going to watch that episode. No, that's not something I support. Jacob, did you watch Eurovision? I did watch Eurovision. I don't necessarily agree with the winner. I was rooting for Norway. So yes, I did watch Eurovision. Not all of the performance. My partner is the one that is completely obsessed with it. We watched the You know that they make different, it's not just like one show. They make different shows during the weeks leading up to the final show. So I watched most of those and part of the finale. Because at some point I fell asleep. I was tired and I fell asleep. I woke up for the voting. The voting was a complete shit show. And yeah, what can you do? What can you do? At the end of the day, as long as you enjoy the show, don't be salty about the outcome. I'm trying to be positive. Johnny, I've never watched Eurovision. It's an experience. It's an experience. I started watching it last year. Again, my partner is the one obsessed with it, always been obsessed with it. I had no idea what it was. I had no idea how it works. I still don't know how the voting actually works. But it's a different take on music. In a way, it's refreshing. There is a lot of weird stuff going on. I was very, very impressed by Serbia last year. I made a little sketch and I put in one of my reviews of All Stars because I liked it so much. So yeah, I'm starting to following it. I'm not crazy about it. I'm not Drag Race level of crazy about it, but yeah, I think it's entertaining. Yes. Who were your top 5? Well, that's asking too much to my memory. I do remember how the songs sound like. I don't remember exactly where they are from. So for me, I will tell you this much. For me, Norway was number 1, and Israel should have been anywhere around number 15. That's as much as I can tell you. Jacob, I love Lithuania. Lisa, I voted for Finland, Norway, Austria, Spain, and Israel. And also I vote for Croatia. I like Austria and Czechia all the way. I see Eurovision was much better than last year. I loved it, but as you said, the voting in general was a choice. Yeah, the voting was kind of pointed, if I can say that. And then again, it's a matter of taste, so I'm not here to judge anybody's taste. What I do really appreciate at the end of the day, what I really do appreciate about Eurovision, and you should probably know it at this point, is that they sing live. You probably heard me bitch 1,000 times about the fact that people are auto-tuned, that we don't see the queens actually perform their lyrics, we don't see them recording, we never see any real live singing. So it's been years like this. You know how important it is for me to actually celebrate the vocal abilities of people, especially if it's about singing. If they, there is a difference between a singer and a singing artist. I don't know who reminded me of this in the live stream for season 15, but whoever you are, thank you, because that's exactly what I've been thinking for years, and it couldn't come to my mind. So people at Eurovision are singers, and they have to sing, and that's something that I really do appreciate. I see. I'm happy for Loreen. She was amazing. I loved Euphoria. I was not blown away by this song. Israel is the reverse of UK, which had a good song and 0 stage presence. House of Down Boots. I loved Finland, Sweden, Norway, Austria, and honestly, Georgia. Does anybody knows why Australia isn't there? I'm still trying to find out. I don't get it. Why some states are there? It's a European song contest, so I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they bought their way in. I don't know. It's called Eurovision. Good lord. Oh, broadcast relations, you say? I don't know. I find it's a little bit ridiculous to me. It's a little bit ridiculous. If you organize the contest that it historically is a European contest, it's like you do Miss America. And and then you make regional winners from a district in Japan compete. Miss America representing Japan. What the fuck? I mean, I don't have a problem with international competition, but at least do you remember when I said everything is the contrary of everything today? That's one of those things. Nothing makes sense anymore. Or maybe I'm just getting old. Article, speaking of voting, since the Fame Games were announced, how are we feeling about the eliminated looks so far? I don't watch them. I am really angry about this Fame Game bullshit that they did. So I want to discuss those in detail, but I'm really, really pissed off. So I'm not endorsing them. I'm not really talking about them. I'm just ignoring them. I don't want to say it's triggering because it's not. Triggering is a very different thing, but it upsets me. It really upsets me. So I try not to even acknowledge that they tried to pull this bullshit. So as usual, I will check out the looks of the queens that I am interested in, like I always do. But for everything else, it's this Fame. Fuck you, Fame Game. Johnny, Australia competes in Eurovision. Yes. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. They're not the only ones. House of Down Boots, they should use Swedish drag queens in Sweden next week, for sure. This year's queens from the UK brought it. Jacob since 2015. Oh god. Article, I'm going to need a full review by the time the voting starts. My memory is awful, especially for the last 5 minutes of Untucked. Well, I must admit, the first week, I didn't even know that they did it at the end of Untucked. I don't know if they said it during the episode that they would show the outfits at the end of Untucked, and I missed that, or they just thought, you know what, fuck it. If they happen to see it, it's at the end of Untucked. I don't know. But they do it at the end of Untucked. Whatever it is. Stevie Elise, I hated the Fame Game concept immediately. What a terrible idea with such toxic fan base. The first episode was overwhelming. They tried to do so much and I didn't remember anything. Well, you're not alone. Drag Race sometimes tends to be a little bit too formulaic. And so once you see something once and it's always the same, of course you tend to forget it. I think that episode 1 was a wasted opportunity. It was a lot of exposition, which frankly we don't need. And that was boring. And the whole concept of celebrating the owners of World of Wonder, I found that repulsive, honestly. I found that repulsive. I have my own reason. I'm not judging their talents as musicians. I mean, I wasn't there 40 years ago to judge how influential they were, but their song was definitely not a cult classic, as far as we understand cult classics today. So it felt very gratuitous, very, very cheap. No, boot. We give it a boot. Lisa, they only put the look up for a couple of seconds. It seems like they don't really want you to see it and then go to their socials. I don't think they actually put the Queen's socials in there on screen. I might be wrong, because I generally I've seen it, but I erased it from my memory, so I need to check this. I don't think they put the Queen's social in there. I think they just repost it and call it a day. House of Down boots. They could have saved the Fame Games for the last episode, before the finale, like All-Star 6. And judges would eliminate the queens based on their presentation and runway for that specific challenge if possible. I agree. It would have already looked better. But then again, it would have taken some effort. And they cannot be bothered. They cannot be bothered. They are making wagons of money more year after years, and they cannot be fucking bothered. So I'm sorry if I become vulgar, but this is really upsetting to me. This is really disrespectful. This is really disrespectful to the queens. And the huge middle finger to us. I mean, you could take time. You could at least celebrate them, discuss, you know, hey, I got this outfit. This is something that, I don't know, I've done already 3 years ago. I presented during this specific night at that club. It was an amazing concept. This person came in and said, okay, let's change this and make it like this. It works better. And so I paid this person and then I did it. A little bit of effort. You know, it doesn't take much. It literally doesn't take much. But they cannot be bothered. They cannot be bothered. Nesha said that they would also be putting the looks on their socials. That is something that I need to that I need to check. Not the looks on the socials, because of course they post them there. I want to see exactly what they post and the timings, because I need to check something. I see. The only thing I'm worried about is that the last time Drag Race did a fan voting, it did not turn out well. Season 10 Miss Congeniality, if I remember correctly, it was Season 9. It was Valentina. It was Valentina. It was the Miss Congeniality gate. Fan favorite. I have no idea how they're going to do this. It makes no sense. If I were them, the only way to do a proper voting at this point would be to let the WoW Plus subscribers vote. When you think about it, it's the only way that you can make sure that you are tracking the people who are voting, that you don't have bots voting, that everybody is voting once. You make them do that through their World of Wonder Plus account. And on top of that, you also have to have people subscribe if they want to vote. So you catch 2 birds with 1 stone. I'm surprised they didn't think about this. Or maybe they did, and that's how they're going to do. I don't know if you know this, but RuPaul was surprisingly vague about how this is actually going to happen. So, I don't know. Stevie, I love this cast so much. and they all deserve better. I hope things improve as the season goes on. I would hope that as well. But experience tells us that the opposite is usually true. They start very, very high and then it goes downhill. It goes downhill. These are like when Hulu sent people who watch The Handmaid's Tale jackets. Oh, I don't know about that. What's the story behind that? I see. I think season 10 did it as well, but the vote was Act and Vixen had the most votes. Oh my god, I didn't know that. Which they did not like, and they changed it to the Queen's voting. Oh yes, you're right. You're right. You're absolutely right. Oh god. How could I forgot that? Yeah, I remember. She made that Ru came out and was like she made a parallelism with the US elections. So you're right, that's true. Hulu sent people who watch The Handmaid's Tale custom denim jackets. They are really nice. Okay. Oh my god. Oh. I'm checking Jan's channel. So now I'm really curious. Oh my god, Miss Relatable. No. No, I'm not going to watch this. I'm not going to watch this. My god, who is she going to invite next? Nina West? My god, Jan, no. No, Jan. No. No. Pass. Sorry. Sorry. Love you, Jan. But no. No. No, 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 no. Maybe this one with Crystal Method, yes. But, nope. Nope. Victor is laughing. Well, I don't make a secret of, the people that I don't particularly look up to. So the Resident Queen of Puerto Vallarta and Miss Cracker are absolutely not people I look up to or people that I'm interested into seeing. I just ignore them. They do not exist. Because remember, hate is a terrible thing and it's also a waste of resources. It makes you miserable, it makes other people miserable. You don't like something, look the other way and ignore them. And that's what I do. I look the other way and ignore them. Why don't we like Miss Cracker? Miss Relatable, really. Well, everybody's free to like her, of course. I don't particularly appreciated the fact that she pushed a form of I cannot say the word on YouTube. So we're going to call it intimate assault. In an quote article, because that's what we call journalism, and the whole Asia debacle, the old passive aggressiveness, the never apologizing for anything, and that shit show that she carried on with Angina on All Stars 5. My god, it was just so much. It would no, thank you, no, I'm done. That's there are better way to spend my time. No. I like that when I made the last video and I was talking about the whole Lux and Mistress, and people were like, yeah, you are so racist. I would like to see you do that to white people. And I'm like, you probably were never here when I was talking about Shitty Pie or Misrelatable or Nina Feet or whatever it is. Mario, welcome! Girl, I didn't know this was happening. Yeah, I tried to send notifications. And I think that this channel actually sends them. So if you didn't have the notification, it's not my fault. And it's not YouTube's fault, because this is a new channel and it sends notification. People have been confirmed that to me. So it's your fault, Mario. It's not my fault. Oh, yes, okay. You are playing Tot. I don't know what that is. Vitor, Nina feet, my god. Yeah, it's not really about the feet. You are more than welcome to explore your intimate life in whatever way you deem appropriate, as long as you are with consenting individuals. That's my problem. So we should probably call her Nina Consent. Mario, I already love Nina Feet. So Nina Feet it is. It's Nina Feet. She's a Disney princess. What are you talking about? God help me. Jen looks beautiful in this thumbnail. She really looks beautiful. Sfinina West. I don't even know what that means. I don't even know what that means, no. Jessica will be the top para. I mean, think about it. If Jessica wins, she would be the second queen from season 2 to come back for All Stars after more than a decade and fucking win. And if that's not proof that season 2 was one of the best seasons of Drag Race, then I don't know what it is. Sfinina is pork in East Slavic languages, and it fits great. Oh, God. Well, it's a little bit offensive, isn't it? It feels like a judgment on her appearance, and I don't have a problem with that. At all. I mean, if you know me, you know what I like. So, shady, yes. Yeah, that's super shady. You like chubby guys? Yes. Yes, I do. And good thing that I'm part of a minority, because I don't have to put much effort. Well, that's a joke, of course. But, every joke is rooted in reality. And, I'm still talking about things that were happening like 15 years ago, before I met Mr. Invisible. But, to me, it always feels like yesterday. I'm forever 20. At least in my fantasy, I'm forever 20. And also, fantasizing is for free. That's the deal. You can fantasize as much as you want. I see. You are so right, because every time my mind goes back to season 2, I feel like it was highly memorable and great TV. It was amazing television. It was amazing television. I'm telling you, if season 2 aired today, people will lose their shit. But also, Drag Race would become highly iconic again, because you have real people out there just to be themselves, just to make a mess, just to have fun. Who gives a shit about career? Who gives a shit about likable? Who gives a shit about pushing merch? Who gives a shit about all of that? We are here, we are queer, we are filming a fucking show, and we want to be the best of the best at whatever cost. That's what Drag Race is missing, really. Drag Race is made of people, first and foremost. So when people become brands, you lose the show. Johnny, don't we all? I hope so. I hope so. Mario, you like long walks on the beach, big ducks, and fried chicken. Johnny, forever 21. Yeah. In my fantasy, I'm forever 23. Forever 23. Forever 23 sticks well for me. Yeah, we need Tatiana back on All Stars. It's time for Tatiana to be back on All Stars. The very first redeemed queen of All Stars. We need her back for a proper season. And give her a fucking crown, because it's time. Mario, that was from Juju, of course. And I will sashay away for tonight. Good night, Mario. Thanks for coming. Laura Liz, I would hope if Mystique Summers or Nicole Page Brooks. Did you call her Nicole Page Brown? You did not call her Nicole Page Brown. Damn, now I need a drink. I cannot drink. Can I tell you something? Between you and me, I'll start to call her Nicole Page Brown. Well, I remember that Mystique was kind of trying to get on All Stars. She was doing... she was being nice to production. I don't remember exactly the circumstances, but she was being nice to production. And there was a lot of speculations that she was trying to get on All Stars. And then she didn't. And then, of course, Nicole Page Brooks. And, I mean, what are we waiting for? That she turns 70. Now, you know that I'm not here to judge people on their age, but it's a matter of fact that if you have to work 15 hours a day, being on high heel for 7 days straight, 4 weeks in a row, well, maybe being 30 kind of gives you an advantage compared to people who are in their 50s, doesn't it? So, you know, get Nicole in there. It's fucking time. Let's bring those queens in there before it's too late. Good lord. Just say dog. Laura Lees. Oh my god, I wasn't even looking what I typed. It was autocorrect. If it happens again, the official excuse is autocorrect. That's how we do it here. I'm not going to converse with you. Oh, hi, Hargent. Welcome. Johnny says, Morgan, Tatiana, Mystic, Jessica, Jujubee, Raven, Pandora, iconic season. Let's not forget James. which doesn't seem to be doing very well recently. So I don't know what the hell is going on in there. But she was iconic in her own way. Let's also not forget about Sahara. She was there too. She was iconic in her own way as well. Lisa, Mistress is already in geriatric heels. What will she be wearing in All Stars? Sneakers? Poor Mistress. Poor Mistress. She was not by the end of season 15, she was by far not my favorite queens. But I hope that she gets healthy. She gets healthy. Being too much of a weight, as you grow older, like the moment you start passing your 30s, you can really feel, I don't want to make a pun out of it, but you can really feel the weight of it. So the eating challenge, that was gross. Yes, chicken or what? The eating challenge of season 2 was called Chicken or What. I love that. It felt, looking back, it felt more like an episode of Dragula. Everybody was throwing up. I think Mystique, like she swallowed everything. I think those kind of challenges, you have to have no gag reflex. You just have to, let everything go down without even thinking about it. Because if it's chicken, it's okay. But if it's what are you going to do? Did anyone see James fighting Naisha on social media? Yes, I had a hint of that. It looked a little bit like a shit show. And I was like, nope. No. I'm not here for this. I'm out. I'm leaving my fantasy of a redemption story in there somewhere, and that's where I want to live. That's it. Argent, I'm only planning to enter my daddy era in my 30s. Aren't you already in your 30s? Or maybe, oh no, maybe you were in your 20s, then you met Weasel, and you automatically went in your 30s for some reason. I don't recall. I have no recollection of that. Did anybody of you see the guy from Facebook testifying in Congress, and he was like, I have no recollection of that. Not to my knowledge. I have no recollection of that. I will do the same. Arjun, bestie, I am 25. Like me. Well, I am a couple years younger, but yes, like me. Johnny, 25 but experienced. Very experienced. Very experienced. I cannot testify to that, but I'm doing it anyway. I would say very experienced. Arthaus Bonita, did I get it right that Jessica's lip sync outfit was a La Veneno tribute? I don't know. I don't know. You're asking for reference that I'm sure somebody has, but that somebody is not me tonight. I can tell you that I did like the outfit. And in my fantasy, it was a reference to Jiggle Those Titties. That's the fantasy story. That's the fantasy that I want to live in. Oh, Argent, you already have osteoporosis? Damn. Are you menopausal? Oh my god, that was, I did not know that reference. Now I need to Google it. Now I'm curious. Veneno. 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 Spanish. Oh, thanks, Sergeant. I did not know that. I didn't know this performer. But it's nice. It's really nice that Jessica paid tribute to her. It's really nice. Johnny, I checked now the titties. Okay. For being a gay channel, we talk a little bit too much about titties. Like way too much. We should start talking more about moves. It would make more sense. Argent, I guess the best American reference is like a Spanish Amanda Lepore. Then it makes sense. Yes, those are some big titties. She must be very proud. I mean, I would be very proud. Of course, we would need to do some quality check, but generally I would say yes. We start to become a little bit too much unhinged once it hits 1 in the morning. Sorry, Johnny, unlike this channel, I am a top. I am a power bottom. I am absolutely a power bottom. In my fantasy, at least. That's where I want to live. In my fantasy, I'm a 23-year-old twink, blonde twink, airless, and a power bottom. And we're going to keep it at that. That's where we live. Oh, now that I googled this woman, also Isis Couture referenced her in Canada's Drag Race. Nice. Bottom RPDR videos. And we love that for you, Miss quote top RPDR videos. Yes. Lisa, Drag Race España, the previous season did a whole episode dedicated to her, while the US franchise is doing Vanna White. Yes, it was on my watch list. Then I decided to go on a complete Drag Race free diet for a month. But yes, it's still on the top of my watch list. He's ironic even on his channel names. My God. I'm sorry, I'm still watching this thumbnail from Jen's channel. I cannot believe this happened. Jen, you deserve so much better. You deserve so much better. Okay, no, I need to close this page. Ajit, I miss these lives. Thank you. I feel so appreciated. Jen's channel is a cry for... Oh my god, that Lisa, no! No, poor Jen. We are huge Jen stan on this channel. We are huge Jen stan. We follow the cult of Jentifer. So she's trying her best. She's trying her best, and I respect that. I respect people for trying. And sometimes you need to make mistakes in order to find the right way. No, I mean, she's working. That's a good... The fact that I don't like some of our guests has nothing to do with the quality or validity of the work, which, of course, I cannot speak on because I haven't watched it. And I'm not going to. Johnny, now I can't get the image of this whole wide open off my mind. Victoria, since we have Kasha, we need Jaden back. We've been needing Jaden for almost 8 years at this point. My god. It's like they took season 7 and thought, you know what? We forget about this. It didn't exist. It never happened. Pearl? Who's Pearl? Max? Who's Max? And everybody else. Everybody else. We should be happy we saw Kasha at least. Because everybody else, apart from Katya and Trixie, has been basically forgotten. It's like they didn't even exist. I mean, by this point, we have had the top 4 of every season already. So we are basically casting on all-stars. Basically queens that we haven't seen in a while. It used to be... You know, we get the queens from the top 4s, some miscongenialities, and that's it. Now we cast basically everyone. People that the viewers are eager to see. And I don't have a problem with that. But somehow, season 7 seems to be like, okay, they did the top 4, excluding Pearl. Then everybody else, fuck yourself. So I don't know. I want to see more queens from season 7. Looking back, I think it held fantastic. Even better than season 8. I haven't rewatched season 9 in a while, but I think it probably held better than season 9. Season 9 was already a different Drag Race. But I mean, if you put me in a room and you tell me, listen, you have nothing to do in this room for the next 10 hours. What do you want to watch? Drag Race Season 7 or Season 9? I will rewatch Season 7. I will rewatch Season 7. Uncut. Uncut? Is that the right way? Is that the right... Like with the additional footage. Not just the part that aired. I want to see the whole thing. Yeah, I agree. It was a stepping stone, absolutely. It was a rite of passage. Arthaus, haven't you seen the promo? The promo for what? Oh, Arthaus, by the way, has anyone noticed that despite being in the cast of the current All-Stars, Jujubee is literally cut out of the edit? Jujubee? All-Stars? Oh, wait a moment, what are we talking about? Am I sleeping? Am I in my fantasy? Did I drop dead? And I don't understand what's happening. Johnny 7 was one of the worst. Mute Johnny for 20 minutes. Well, since we're talking about Juju, we should burn UK versus the world. That season never happened. It never happened. It never happened. I mean, I felt sorry for almost everybody on that cast, but most of all, I felt sorry for Lemon. I felt really, really sorry for Lemon. I think a lot of queens were done dirty, and I thought Lemon was done the dirtiest. Ginger and Katya were the only good queens on season 7. What about Candy Who? She did an amazing job. What are you talking about? What about Max? What about Pearl? What about Pearl? I mean, the original queen who showed RuPaul the middle finger. I mean, that's amazing. That's amazing. Jaden was fantastic. Jaden was a sweetheart. No, Kasha was fantastic. I mean, I do understand the argument for Miss Fame, but she was not good at Drag Race. It's like, it's the same thing with Neisha. She's not good at Drag Race. She excels in her own thing. So I will give you that. But all in all, season 7 was pretty endearing. We should do like watch parties of season 7. I mean, we would get copyrights, but I like to entertain the idea of, you know, once a week we watch an episode of Drag Race together. Like, we synchronize somehow, and everybody's responsible for finding the episode themselves, but then we click play at the same time and we comment together. You know, we do it the legal way. That would be Johnny. My God, mute Johnny forever. Luis Felipe, hey. At least I want this to happen. Mel W. Ginger should have won season 7. Yes, that was their best chance to have a big girl winning All Stars. Yes, a big girl winning Drag Race, the US version. That was their best shot. It was all downhill from then. Yeah, Luis Felipe is alive. Johnny. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. It's one of our oldest viewers. One of our oldest viewers. What are we missing? Amateur. We're missing Amateur. Amateur is growing up. She is interested in other things now. Oh my God, this starts to feel like ages. It really starts to feel like ages, my God. One of our oldest viewers, and she hasn't been watching that long. Well, not everybody is. People go in, people go out, sometimes they come back. I'm not here to tell people, you know, to be here every single time. By all means, do what you feel like. I do appreciate viewers, but it's not like a job. We need to like it both, you know what I mean? Is Top oblivious to all jokes? Probably. Probably. Sorry, I needed to vape. I need a little bit of nicotine. By the way, this thing is really destroying my voice. I remember it happened already. and then I forgot it happened. But that's why I talk for 2 hours and my voice goes completely out. It's this thing. It's completely drying my throat. Johnny, don't write that. The algorithm is always lurking. They don't tell you anything, and then somehow people don't get notifications anymore. I mean, you can write that. I do appreciate the joke. Just don't actually write it. Arthouse Bonita, you're gonna get electronic cough soon instead of regular cough. Yeah, but at least it's not healthy, but it's keeping me off the cigarettes, so I guess it's a little bit of a win. Then we will see. If nothing happens in the next month, I will start reducing the nicotine and maybe stop everything. That would be the goal that I'm trying to achieve for the past 2 to 3 years. And I'm not being very successful at it, but you know what? As long as I'm not smoking, I consider it a win. And then, you know what the problem with the cigarette is? That you smoke it, and it's not like you take 2 puffs and then you can trash it. So you smoke a cigarette, you smoke all of it. So you get all of the nicotine that's in there. But with this, you can decide the level that you actually get. You know, you can take a puff and then leave it there, and I feel like I generally have more control. It makes me feel more in control. Mel, just lime water. Yes. No more energy drinks. No more liquid energy. My God, the times of liquid energy. I remember there was this one time where I went to Lidl and I got I didn't get, like, 6 cans, 8 cans. They literally had this big carton with 25 cans, and I would buy that. And back in the day, I was doing the reviews, but I was doing the reviews as if it was like a full-time job. Like, I would literally start on Sunday morning, get the episodes, do the charts, watch them once, watch them twice, take all of the timestamps, compare all of the confessionals, take the screenshot, take snippets of videos, write down what was it? When they mismatched the confessionals, write it all down, then put it all together on Sunday. I would literally work 20 hours between Saturday morning and the moment I came live on Sunday night. I was that committed. So by the time I came live on Sunday, it was like midnight and I was completely destroyed. So I was running on energy drinks. And there was this one time that I didn't realize it, but I had like 5 in a matter of 3 or 4 hours. I couldn't sleep anymore. Like, I was still awake on Monday at 10 in the morning. And I couldn't fucking sleep because I didn't realize I had a ton of energy drinks. By almost the end of the stream, I was like, oh my God, how many cans are in there? How many fucking energy drinks did I drink? Good Lord. Good Lord. The good old times, right? Johnny, they need to make acai energy drink. Oh, fuck. We get it. You just wanna talkish live, improvise, and we love that from you. No, I actually miss doing the show the way I used to do it. I really missed it. I feel in a way, I feel like I'm not living up to the expectations of past me when I do the reviews like I'm doing them today. Like, in a way, I also understand that there is no need to put that level of like you don't destroy yourself to do it. There is no need for that. People know what edit is. People know the things that are going on. And most of all, a video is way more effective than a live stream. I do understand all of these things, but it was the thing that I created. And I like to have it done the way I wanted to have it. Punctual, with all of my graphs, with all of my more analytical point of view. That's how I liked it. I miss doing it like that. I feel almost ashamed to myself when I do it in a more, how can I say, more loose way, where we chit chat more and give more opinions. And I don't know. I do understand that times change, and I do understand that it's a different thing, but yeah, that's how I feel about it. That's how I feel about it. What happened to the donate button? This channel is not monetized. So we don't have super chats here. I know. A person with a sense of business moves to another channel once he has the channel monetized. I am not. If you wish to send some support, there's a Patreon link in the description. I do understand that it's less convenient. So I won't hold it against anyone, but you know, there's a Patreon for that if you wish to, and I thank you. But no, the channel is not monetized. You need 1,000 subscribers. You need to go through the YouTube screening, whatever it is. So I'm not really, how can I say, counting on, this channel making money. So it's all a bundle for me. There is the main channel, the Discord, and this channel, and everything else that I do. It's all a bundle together. RIP super chats, yes. Yes. You have to wait. If you want to hear Weasel singing, you will have to wait. Argent, I still watch out for concealed pimples in the confessional, and that means mission accomplished for me. I did my job well. We'll get you there. It would be nice, yes, would be nice. It's not like you make who knows how much amount of money, but it's motivating, It's a little bit, but it gives you a little bit of motivation. You'd be like, oh, okay, it's good. It's nice. His husband is busy fracking. My husband? Do I even have a husband? And is he fracking? Why is he not sharing the money? Lord forgive, an LGTV topic account gets monetized. I don't get that. Is that a joke? Please have pity on me. Arthouse, I think Jessica didn't want to eliminate Neisha as a friend. Also, Neisha hadn't had a chance to show herself when Kana already showed what she could do. I think it also has to do with the fact that they worked a lot together. So it's not just about friendship. I think it's also about being co-workers. So, but I like your point of view. It's very positive. Will this video be saved? I missed 2 hours, but I want to catch up later. Yes, of course. And even better, it will be on the main page of the channel. So you don't have to go around finding playlists. You can even search it on YouTube, if YouTube would be so gracious to actually put it in the results. But it is searchable. So that's a step forward. Lisa, she told Naisha she would never vote for her. Exactly. Drag Mr. Invisible. I personally don't believe that Kana is gonna slay any comedy or acting challenges. Well, me neither. I mean, I'm happy that she's having her moment to shine. But she doesn't strike me like a comedy queen at all. But she bought good looks. Yeah, she spent a ton of money on the looks. I really hope that she gets to make good use of them. I mean, she's a Vegas queen. She performs in the Drag Race live show, so she will surely get a chance to put those dresses to good use after Drag Race. But still, it's a little bit too much money for my taste. I'm trying not to say the acronym for the rainbow colored flag community. Why can't you say it? The gay community? Can't we use the word gay anymore? I mean, it's fine if we say gay, as long as we don't start naming genitalia and things we would do with them. I think YouTube doesn't have a problem with that. Jessica Wilde has been one of the loveliest guests on Roscoe's. So happy she has a new audience now, and she deserves all of that, and she deserves the coins. She paid her dues. She worked hard. I want Jessica's coconuts to win. Ajit, thankfully, finally, all of the queens get their money's worth with the fame game. Oh, you are a terrible person. Kostya, I'm in the UK. So I usually go live you usually go live at the perfect time for me. YouTube is just bad as telling me when you go live. No, please don't tell me this. We've migrated to this channel to solve the problems of notifications. And I felt so encouraged because a lot of people told me, I received the notification. I'm finally getting notifications. I was like, oh my God, yes, we did the right thing. I feel so empowered now that the channel is not invisible anymore. So, you know, as long as this is a channel where I only publish the live streams every Sunday. If you are concerned that you get too many notifications, ring the bell. Do me a favor, ring the bell. And then tell me if it worked. Do you think that term doesn't get flagged? Well, this is a gay show. This is Drag Race. I use the Drag Race tag. So, of course, the algorithm would be smart enough to understand that we are talking about a gay show and not discussing the gay community for whatever other reason. So, I don't think it would be a problem. I don't like the girl's reasoning about Naisha's elimination by track record. Like, it's been only 2 episodes. Okay, I see that they try to seem congenial in order not to get bad at it, but it sounded so dumb. They sound so scary to me. It doesn't sound stupid. It sounds like they are really scared of making a wrong move and being portrayed like shit. If it was up to me, I would be like, you know, I would be very political about it. I'll try to vote in the fairest way, but at the end of the day, I am a person. As a person, I have feelings, and those feelings are towards other people. So Depends how I feel in the moment. And that's it. Argent, I heard that some LGBT channels getting recommended to less people. Oh, well, I don't know. At this point, I don't know. I think, listen, there are compromises that I'm willing to make, and there are times where I would put my foot down. So if YouTube is not going to recommend this channel because we use the word gay, then fuck off, period. I can be understanding that you say do not use vulgar language. I understand that. Do not start talking about things that can be triggering or too sensitive or too, I don't know, intimate, whatever it is. I can understand that. But if I cannot use words like gay and trans, then fuck off. At the end of the day, okay, you gotta block the channel, fucking block it. I don't give a shit. I mean, I will do my best to, you know, not make YouTube shadow ban this channel as well. But I have my limits. If I cannot use the word gay or trans, then it's not even worth it anymore. That's what I'm saying. Johnny, oh my god, this is a gay channel. I'm leaving. I mean, literally, if you go on the Drag Race channel, you have Michelle Visage saying if we like gay shit. Erica, a global all-stars with strong competitors is rumored. Which queens would you like to see? Imagine Scarlett or even Jada. Give Jada a rest. Give Jada a rest. Let her stay. I don't have a problem with global all-stars, but we need to space out these seasons because it's becoming way too much. They are starting to become less special, especially the season of all-stars. They really started to become less special. Now, I mean, I do understand different iterations of all-stars, that's completely fine, but since they want to have an international all-stars anyway, now they created this versus the world kind of things. And we basically have 4 or 5 seasons of all-stars every year. That's too much. Are people even going to tune in anymore? I don't get it. I'm like, you know what? I'm watching 2 seasons of Drag Race a year. That's it. I'm not interested in anything else. Like, if something is done very, very well, it's fine. But the moment your show starts, the moment I realize that you're trying to capitalize on the franchise and you stop putting effort in doing it, I'm tapping out. Drag Race UK, I'm tapping out. Drag Race Down Under, I'm tapping out. Drag Race Canada, I will watch a couple of episodes, but after that, I'm tapping out. Season 3 was not good. UK versus the world, I didn't see, but I mean, it's still, I'm not enjoying it anymore. It feels like a chore. Keeping up to all of these things. Drag Race is not a chore. Even though I have a Drag Race channel, I watch Drag Race because I enjoy it. If I don't enjoy it, what's the point? So, no, I don't need 400 seasons of All Stars every year. I need one. A single one that I will cherish, that I will appreciate, that will entertain me, and that will show queens that I haven't seen in a long time. Not the queens that you have under contract right now. Queens that I haven't seen in a long time. Please. Emmy-nominated gay shit. Oh, yeah. Didn't they win the Emmy this year that she says Emmy-nominated? Oh, it's censored. Oh, okay. Well, they keep it family friendly. Because if it's not family friendly, you can get demonetized. But this channel is not monetized to begin with. So I guess until that moment comes, we could let loose a little bit. Not too much, just a little bit. Why not? Lisa, I have to go to my next group chat for gay shit. Thanks for the show. Thanks for coming. I don't like using the F word unless it's with close friends. That's our word. You mean fag. I do use that from time to time. It depends. I try to never use it referring to other people because I don't know how they would react to it. Personally, I'm fully into reappropriating the word. Not just the English version, also my natural language version of that. So I do use it, yes. Oh well, unless I have reason not to. Erica, at this point, Bianca seems to be their option as a host instead of Maru. I don't know if they're going to do it. I think it would be a good choice. I think she's doing a great job at the pit stop. I don't watch the pit stop. My partner does. I don't. But I think she's doing good. I think she's doing good. Possibly one of the best hosts so far. Did you see that RuPaul showed his house? Well, what? Oh yeah, somebody posted it on the Discord. Yes, I saw it. I saw it. And I'm like, good lord, the world still hasn't recovered from the effect of the pandemic. How out of touch can you be to show your $10 million mansion? Oh, this is my disco room. This is my relaxing room. This is my this. This is my that. I am RuPaul. I have a villa in Hollywood. It's a mansion. And that's my swimming pool. I'm like, girl, no. Come on, no. I mean, I do understand that she was probably paid for that. I don't think RuPaul is the kind of girl that, would be like, oh, yes, interview me. I want the exposure. I want to be seen. I don't think RuPaul gives a shit about that. She likes the things. She doesn't like to brag about the things. But that's the result that comes out. As if she's like, oh my God, look at like she's doing it Todrick style. I don't know if many of you saw the Todrick tour of the house that he quote unquote bought at the time. Well, that video got lost in the sands of time, but for those who watched it, and I did watch part of it, for the lols, of course, you could really see that he was doing that video as a way of saying, look at my house, look at my things. I didn't get that vibe at all from RuPaul. The vibe that I got from RuPaul was like, I am being paid for giving them a tour of my house. So I will do a good job in doing just that, because I'm being paid for that. So that's the different vibe that I got from it. They edited out the part of the interview with the oil drill room. No, it's in different states. The fracking farm is in Wyoming? However it's pronounced. That's the mansion is in Hollywood. It was such a shame he didn't show off the frack fields. And behind the humble, tasteful mansion is the fracking ranch. Todrick's Disney princess house? Yes, I think that. I saw it on Reddit, and that was like the comments were just next level. That they're I'm going to be like the hilarious Ross Matthew when he saw Gigi Good on the main stage of season 12. Next level. The comments were next level. I remember somebody said, imagine that he's your grinder hookup and you step foot in that house. What would you do? And I was like, oh my God. What would I do? I would regret not calling a friend, asking him to call me as if he had an emergency and I had to leave. I don't know. Sometimes, I don't know. Maybe I should not be too judgmental about that. But yeah, I mean, it was an interesting piece of internet history. That's too bad that we lost that. That's too bad. We should have saved it. Speaking of Todrick, I remember one time he posted an Amazon wish list. Good Lord. My God. I don't know. Sometimes people are really shameless. He posted an Amazon wish list asking his fans to buy him, like, I saw this wish list. It was like common things. It was like a toilet paper. It was like paper plates. I don't remember exact. It was really, really common things. And I'm like, why are you treating your fans as if they're doing your grocery shopping? What the fuck? You're Todrick Hall. You're not making, I don't know, a fundraising for a project, and you're like, okay, I have this project and I need $50,000 that I don't have. I need to be funded. Let's make a crowdfunding, which I do understand. Making a fucking Amazon wish list to buy common things that you could buy if you went out of the house, I don't know. It feels so out of touch. I don't get that. I really, really don't get that. But then again, I don't get a lot of things, but don't think about it too much. Erica, Carmen Carrera recently said that she would come back for All Stars. Oh, really? And All Stars with controversial queens like her, Willem, Pearl. That cast would be fire. It will also never happen. World of Wonder has a good thing going on. They're not going to jeopardize it. For somebody like Carmen Carrera, it's never going to happen. Willem, don't even mention it, at least until RuPaul is alive. Same for Pearl. It's never going to happen. But we can dream about it, yes, but it's never going to happen. Argent, I'm rewatching All-Star 6 with my boyfriend right now. What if we just pretended that instead of All-Stars 8, that season was still airing? Well, why not? I mean, there's never enough Kylie, so yeah. But also, the resident queen of Puerto Vallarta was in there, so I don't know. One step forward, one step back, you know. There's a reason why fake friends of Wio failed. Okay, let's call it a night. Let's go to sleep. It's time. It's been a long review. I'm tired, but I would like something to eat before going to bed. So I'm going to sneak in the kitchen and grab something tasty. So I will see you back on Sunday. I have a video in the making. So it's going to come out when it's going to come out. I cannot make any promises anymore because I say, oh, maybe this video comes out next week, then it doesn't come out. So I will see you back. I will see you back here next week. In the meantime, we are also on Discord, so there's a link in the description if you don't know where the Discord is. Thank you so much for coming, and I will see you soon. Have a great night and a great week. Bye bye.